Welcome everyone. Welcome to Clarity for Sure Schemes in News series. So today also we are going to discuss about a new scheme in recent time. But before starting, let's deal with the question from the previous session. The question and the paragraph was, on 13th of February 2024, the world's largest domestic rooftop solar initiative was launched to reshape India's energy landscape, making solar power accessible, affordable and impactful for millions of households. Now the scheme has seen remarkable progress across several states, notably in Chandigarh and Daman and Diu, who have achieved 100% of their government building rooftop solar targets, leading the nation in clean energy adoption. Now the states like Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Gujarat and Tamil Nadu are also performing exceptionally well in contributing significantly to the overall installation figure. The government is actively monitoring the progress across all the states to ensure the smooth and timely execution of the scheme with the goal of reaching 1 crore household by the financial year 2026-27. And the question was, a village X that lies in a special category state wants to enter in the competitive progress to get selected under the model solar village component of the scheme. Now, which of the following criteria has to be met by the village X to qualify as a candidate village? The points were, it must be a revenue village, its population should be higher than 5,000 and it must be an ODF plus village. So, it must be a revenue village. Option number A will be your correct answer. Coming to question number 2, a household wants to install a residential solar rooftop system but lacks the fund to do so. So, under the scheme, the household can receive a collateral free loan to install RTS of maximum capacity up to how much? So, the options were 1, 2, 3 and 4 kilowatt. As per discussed in the session, the maximum capacity is 3 kilowatt. So, option number C will be your correct answer. Coming to question number 3, which regions have achieved 100% rooftop solar targets on government building under the PM Surya Ghar scheme? Just now discussed as in the paragraph that Chandigarh and Daman and Diu have achieved 100% solar rooftop targets. So, option number C, Chandigarh and Daman and Diu will be the correct option. Coming to today's session, today we are again here with a new set of question and a paragraph. Let's deal with it. So, India has emerged as the third largest startup ecosystem globally with over 1.57 lakh DPIIT recognized startups as of December 31st, 2024. The government has played a pivotal role in this transformation through various targeted initiatives. Schemes like Startup India have driven innovation and employment generation over 17.28 lakh jobs, while programs such as the Startup India Seed Fund Scheme and the Fund of Fund Startups have provided critical financial support. Credit guarantee schemes for startups has improved credit access over 209 startups, including 17 women-led ventures. The Atal Innovation Mission has also nurtured startups even at the school level through 10,000 Atal Tinkering Labs and supported incubation through 72 Atal Incubation Centers. Furthermore, over 51% of the startups now have emerged from tier 2 to 3 cities, reflecting a democratized growth pattern. Collectively, these efforts showcase a comprehensive and inclusive approach to strengthening India's innovation ecosystem. The question from here is that which of the following statements best reflect the multifaceted role of government schemes in fostering India's startup ecosystem as of December 2024. You are having the options here. See the question and the options thoroughly and then comment the correct answer in the comment section. Next question is, which scheme primarily focuses on early stage support like prototype development and market entry startups for the startups? The options are here. Go through the options and comment the answer in the comment section. Next question is, which of the following best reflects the contribution of women in India's startup ecosystem as of December 2024? So, these are the three options, these are the three questions and their options. Go through the paragraph, questions and their options very thoroughly, and then comment all of your answers in the comment section. Coming to today's session, today we are going to talk about a very important scheme, that is your Startup India scheme. Can you imagine a country where every idea meets a chance and where every innovation gets an opportunity? That's basically the Startup India scheme is doing. Let's delve deeply into the scheme. The scheme is being in recently in news as the scheme have completed 9 remarkable years on 16th of January 2025. It was launched by the Government of India, which aims to develop the entrepreneurship skills in every citizen of India. And it was launched on 16th of January 2016 under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Let's get an overview of the scheme. So under this scheme, India has over 1.59 lakh startups recognized by the DPIIT as of January 2025, and India ranks third largest startup. Third largest startup ecosystem in the world, and the ecosystem includes more than 100 unicorns, that is your startup valued at over 1 billion. And this growth is highlighting the India's upcoming and global leadership in innovation and entrepreneurship. And the major in startup hubs in India are in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, and in Delhi NCR. In these 4 states, the major startup hubs of India lies, and the smaller cities are also emerging as a significant contributors in the Startup India scheme in developing and in the growth of entrepreneurship skills. Let's see the progress report of Startup India scheme, as the number of DPIIT recognized startups have grown from 500 to 1,59,157 as of 2025. When it was launched up to 31st of October 2024, a total of 73,151 recognized startup include at least one women director, which showcase and which represent the women entrepreneurship skills and the women empowerment also. And from 2016 to 2024, the recognized startup have created over 16.6 lakh direct jobs, which is creating employment and directly creating jobs for the youngster. You can see in the graph also, as in 2016, how the number have increased to 1.57 lakh startups. The growth and the increasing number shows its development from the date of its launch. There are many features and let's see the progress report also. The startup recognized by DPIIT till date is 1.57 lakh, and under this 17.28 lakh employment has been generated, and a very notable remarkable is 75,935 startups have at least one women director. Let's see the features of Startup India scheme. So basically there are 4 features of Startup India scheme. The very first feature is ease of doing business. So through self-certification and single window clearances, streamlined process for the startups, as no inclusion of the third party, and the direct conversation self-certification have resulted in ease of doing the business. The tax benefit: the eligible startup are enjoying a tax exemption for 3 consecutive financial years. And the funding support: 10,000 crore fund for fund startup support to the early stage of funding, where the entrepreneurs require much support at that time under the fund for startups support through 10,000 crores early stage funding and the sector specific policies. These policies basically focuses on different sectors like biotechnology, agriculture and energy, renewable energy to foster and to increase the targeted growth of Startup India scheme. These are the job creation in startup, the leading industries who are creating job under this scheme. The topmost leading industry is the IT services, who have created 2.10 lakh jobs, and the second one is healthcare and healthcare. So it has created 1.51 lakh jobs, and the professional and the commercial services have created 96,474 jobs, and then in education sector it has created 92,694 jobs. These are the top 4 industries who lead in the creation of jobs under the Startup India scheme. So under the Startup India scheme, there are basic component of the Startup India scheme and flagship scheme which are being implemented under the Startup India. So the very first scheme is Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. When we talk about Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, it is a government scheme that gives money to the early stage startups to help them in developing their product by building a prototype, and we can say to enter in the market. It supports startups when they need funds the most and the idea or proof of the concept stage. So it was launched for 4-year period starting from 2021 and 22 with a corpus of 945 crore. So the areas like proof of concept, prototype development, product trials and market entry, commercialization, etc. So it's being operational since 1st of April 2021, and it's overseen by the expert advisory committee which evaluates and selects incubators for the fund allocations. The second scheme under the Startup India is credit guarantee for the startups. When we talk about credit guarantee for the startup, basically they get loans without needing to provide any security, and the government promises to repay the bank if the startup fails, or making it easier for the startups to get credit. And the scheme offers credit guarantees for loans to provided to DPIIT recognized startup by the scheduled commercial banks to the through NBFCs, and it was being implemented by the National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company Limited, which basically aims to provide credit guarantee up to specified limit to the eligible startups under the Startup India scheme. The third scheme is Fund of Funds for the Startup scheme. So when we talk about Fund of Funds for the Startup scheme, it's a government scheme that gives money. It gives money to big investors, and which then invest in the startups. The government doesn't fund startups directly, but they support them through these funds to help them grow their entrepreneurs, their startups. And it was introduced in June 2016 with a corpus of 10,000 crore. And the Fund of Funds Startup, basically it aims to enhance the access to domestic capital for Indian startups and boost the entrepreneurial ecosystem. And this scheme is managed by SIDBI, and as I told you, it directly does not invest, but it provides funding through SEBI registered alternative investment funds, which further invest in startup through equity and equity linked instruments. You can see the cumulative growth in Startup India. As in 2021, the cumulative growth was only how much it has increased up to 2024. The increasing rate tells us about the development of the entrepreneurship skills under the Startup India scheme. Let's talk about MITI Startup Hub, a very most important startup hub under the Startup India scheme. So, India has 30,000 tech startups, making it, as I told you in the very first of the session, third largest startup ecosystem globally. And the MITI Startup Hub, it aims to boost the innovation and economic growth by uniting the tech stakeholders, and the MSH act as a central platform connecting the incubation centers and the Center for Excellence and the MITI supported platform, and it promotes the resource by resource sharing, the best practices and idea exchange within the ecosystem of Startup India. And under the MSH there are 5,310 plus startups and 495 plus incubators with labs which are actively participating under this. So, I guess many of you have must got the some of the answer. Let's deal with the question. Which of the following statement best reflect the multifaceted role of government schemes in fostering India's startup ecosystem as of December 2024? So, the government initiatives have primarily focused on tax benefit for startups in metro cities. The ecosystem's growth have been led mainly by private venture capital with minimal government support, and the government initiative have covered funding, incubation, credit guarantee system, innovation support and job creation across both metro and tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Only a few women-led startups have been benefited from government, and startup support scheme have remained confined to technology-based ventures only. So, the question was which of the following statement best reflects the multifaceted role of the Startup India scheme. So, now the government initiative have covered funding, incubation, credit guarantees, innovation support and job creation across the metro and tier 2 and 3 cities. So, option number C will be your correct answer. Second was which scheme primarily focuses on early stage support like prototype development and market entry for the startup. So, as discussed the different flagship schemes under the Startup India scheme, the Startup India Seed Fund scheme supports and focuses on the early stage support like prototype development and market entry. So, option number D, Startup India Seed Fund scheme will be the correct option. The next question is, which of the following best reflects the contribution of women in India's startup ecosystem as of December 2024? So, as we discussed in this session that 75,935 startups have at least one women director, which indicate the rise of participation in women and their entrepreneurship skill development. So, again option C. So, option C will be your correct answer. That's all for today. Subscribe our YouTube channel, join us on Telegram and follow us on Instagram. I hope this session was very fruitful for you and must you have understand the Startup India scheme. Subscribe our channel and get notified about every regulatory body examinations. Thank you. That's all for today.